Well, then business started shifting when I started dreaming of solutions from heaven. And the blueprints from heaven started to provide solutions through dreams that my fleshly mind could never think of. And so that started to come into consultant work with businesses. We started to see it actually in government. And one of the things that Callie wanted me to talk about specifically was, okay, you've got these giftings that you use in business, but how do you use that out into the world? And so one of the things that we do is we evangelize through dream interpretation to current culture events, like pride parades, like the largest in America, where one of them that we went to last year with Pastor Cindy and Todd had over 750,000 people, because it was a ticketed event, come to the Pride Parade. And let me tell you, that's where the fishing is. That's where the prodigals go. And so we partner with the prayers for mamas and grandmas, and we go out there and we fish with Jesus. And how that got to be was my daughter had a dream, Cameron, she was maybe 15 years old, and she woke up from this dream that she was in this huge arena, and there was like all of these trans people doing tricks and like circus acts in the center of the arena, and they were trying to speak different identity over all the kids in the room. And then she saw Jesus with a camera and say, I'm taking a picture of this, I want to invite you to this. You don't have to come if you don't want to, but I'm inviting you here. And she woke up from that dream, and she knew that she had this vision of going out and just getting one at a time. Now, I had never had a desire. I didn't even know anybody that was in the LGBTQ community. And so when she told me that dream, as a mama, I knew that it was my partnership. I could help her birth her destiny. And so I was like, well, I don't know of any, but I know we can go to find out. And that's how we got started. It's just by going, right? From a dream, believe in the dream. And so we went out and we started to go evangelize through dream interpretation at these things. And what we have found is they are dreaming of Jesus. They just didn't know it. They had no clue. And what it looks like on a Pride outreach, and we'll see one after another. There'll be long lines of it. And where we don't put any walls up, and we don't say Jesus from the front, we always end with Jesus, because they have to know where to land. And so what it looks like is we'll be out there, they'll come up and we'll say, hey, you have a dream, a recurring dream, anything? And it's always the dreams, because those are the solutions that God gave them, usually the night before, or a reoccurring dream. And they'll have dreams like, I had this dream where I saw my father at the end of a hallway with open arms, except there was no doors in the hallway, and we'll start to fish, which is finding Jesus in the dream. We'll find Jesus in the dream and go, oh, your father? She goes, that was so weird, because my father abandoned me when I was a child. And I'll say, I know your father. I'll start to fish. He's also the door. You ever heard of him? There's also one way to your father. You know who I'm talking about? And they'll remember, and a light bulb will go off, and they're like, you talking about God? I'm like, yeah, do you believe? And I'm like, it's been a long time. And so we'll speak into it. They'll let us speak words of life over them, and they'll say, yes, I believe. And that's how salvations look like, not by the ones, not by the hundreds, but by the thousands. And I want to end with this, because we've seen so many deliverances and salvations, and it doesn't look like anything in the church. It's really out of the box, and often we don't know what we're going to get into. We've seen people get delivered just by jumping up, not even speaking on them, saying, I believe in God, but we find Jesus in the dream. And I want to end with a dream. So what we have found on all of these events that we go to is there's so many of them, and you could just see all the kids marked Christian, 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 Christian. And the dream that the Lord gave me, which will bring up to this year, because we all know what us moms and grandmas are faced against, and praying our children back home, right? The dream was, I saw a doctor, and I went up to the doctor in the dream, and I said, what do you need right now? And he said, I need runners, people that will run to the youth and bring them to have an encounter with me, and I'll take it from there. That's my greatest need, is I need runners right now. And I woke up from the dream. So, to answer the question, that's where they're at. You want to go fishing with Jesus. You go where the fish are, and that's where they are. And using our gifts and talents on the outside to evangelize, to do the work of the kingdom. And part of what I do is bringing the babies home.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I can say that